We're traveling north from Kettle Falls along Washington 25. It's a road that ultimately takes you to the Canadian border a little bit north of Northport. It's a remote area of the United States. This is not heavily trafficked. In my drive here, there's hardly a car coming at me, and there's hardly any cars behind me. We're headed towards Marcus Island. Marcus Island is, from Kettle Falls, the next campground that you would come in contact with along Roosevelt Lake. And from my post, you can see that Roosevelt Lake is part of the Roosevelt National Recreation Area. And you'll see a link to that post, both posted in the text on the video, and also if you click the upper right hand corner, you'll be able to get over to the post itself for more background. Roosevelt National Recreation Area was created when the Grand Coulee Dam was created back in 1941, and that's when a lot of these campgrounds got built. So this is why I'm out doing some reconnaissance, if you will, before bringing my fifth wheel up into this area, so that I can determine what gotchas, if you will, exist when you pull into any of these campgrounds with a 35-foot trailer. We're now turning off the main highway and into the entrance to Marcus Island. We'll pass the kiosk, which has the map of the area, and then very shortly turn towards the north end of the campground region, so that we can see what some of the campsites up there look like. You'll be picking up with my narrative shortly, which was done actually while I was at the campground. What I can tell you is that the stretch that we're turning onto right now is a one-lane stretch. You can see that in the narrative that I've typed in on the video. And that in particular would concern me. This is probably at least a half-a-mile stretch. But it does come out to water. It comes out to a beautiful area that you're looking at right here. There is a limited turnaround, and that does concern me. The turnaround space here, if you got here and you said, well, there's already people here, or well, I'm not sure that I really want to stay here. If you're pulling a 35-foot trailer, that might be a bit of a concern. So that's something that, you know, only you can judge, and maybe do a little bit more research to see if you think that coming to the north end of Marcus Island is all that great an idea. There are also sites at the south end of the island, and again, this is not all that far from Kettle Falls. You're maybe about 20 minutes north. You're not too far away from town. You've got good access to the community and the services that the town offers. So it's not a bad idea to consider Marcus Island. You're also still well within cell phone reception range. This is one of the areas that the campground hosts in Colville tipped me off to. They said definitely check out Marcus Island, definitely check out Evans, which is coming up on our agenda and will be one of the next campgrounds that we're going to visit here at Roosevelt National Recreation Area. So here we go for my narrative. This is Marcus Island. It looks marginal for getting a 35-foot trailer in here. There is a fairly large Class A sitting in one of the larger sites. There are only a couple larger sites here. But there's also a bit of a drop to get down to the water. You've got this walkway that can be used. It is absolutely gorgeous. This is a little bit north of Kettle Falls. It's on the way to Northport. There's another wing of campsites that are on a one-lane road. And there's a turnaround at the end of it that's maybe barely large enough for a 35-foot fifth wheel. This is the Lake Roosevelt National Recreation Area, one of many Roosevelt National Recreation Area sites. Let me take a walk over and we'll take a look at a couple of the larger sites. This is site 17. 18 might do it, maybe, kind of, sort of, probably not. Here's 18. Here's 17. Here's another fella in on 16. This is Saturday. It's Saturday, September 8th. So the place is pretty deserted for just after Labor Day and being a weekend. So Verizon data seems to work around here pretty well. You've got where we just were, sites 17 and 18 are listed as 36 feet. 17 looked at 18, I'm not so sure. The other direction I went, 25 is actually an option. It's listed as 41 feet. 23 and 4 are listed as 50 feet. Wow. And they actually have pretty good access to the water. We'll take a look at the other video to kind of verify that. These are not as interesting, 1 through 9. They're away from the water. These again had a bit of a lip to get down from the campsite to the water. So you have a nice overview, but you're not really at the water. And Verizon here seems to be pretty good, at least for data, getting 2 bars and getting 4G.